So the most immediate one that people are going to be challenged around is connection. So everyone's going to have a different way of experience connection. Some people have a greater need to experience connection physically. So these are the huggers of the world, the people that like to high five or just need to be in the vicinity of people physically, like actually in the room. Business people will see this as people who want to have face-to-face meetings but resist like this Zoom or Skype meetings. And they need that physical connection. Then people, the next level is people will connect intellectually. The more mental, in a good way, the more mental focused people will connect through conversation or challenge or the debate around ideas. Some people have an emotional connection, so that doesn't necessarily mean to be face-to-face, but these people will need to be on the phone regularly or at least having some sort of conversation that makes them just feel something. It doesn't have to feel happy. They'll feel connected for doing it, but they'll be the ones that are quite empathetic to what's going on and almost to a point of sympathetic, depending on how they're talking to. They will feel what the other person's feeling. So that's a good way of knowing if you're more of an emotional person. And then there's the spiritual connection, people who get connected through an idea or just feel like they are part of a group. They don't have to be in it all the time. They just need to feel that they're part of it. So now that we've collapsed all of our normal social automatic habits that have been a way that we've connected for literally centuries, the context has changed, but the method is still the same. Now when we're isolating people, initially people will be like, oh, yeah, great, I get to take a bit of time out. But very quickly for some people in the first few days, for others within the first week or two, they'll start to feel this isolation, and that becomes quite challenging. So we need to find ways of connecting differently to what we did before. And I have to commend you on setting this up, because this is just one of the methods that starts to get people engaged or knowing that there is a world outside of your front door for a period of time.
Yeah. So I've been remote managing my business from the eastern states, and one of my businesses in Western Australia. Then I felt a bit of disconnection, same sort of thing. Like I wasn't there in person with my team anymore. And for months I felt disconnected with them. And then we started jumping onto conference calls like this. And I realized I can have all of these people at once in this meeting and be almost touching knees with them right now. Like if we sat this close to one another, we would be touching knees. It would be almost more intimate than we're used to in person. So I found that doing this is really great. So I think this is a good opportunity for people to realize we are getting more and more stuck in the digital space. We're on our phones, we're looking at Facebook a lot more, but we're never face calling anyone. If someone face calls you, they're like, what the? No, they pocket dialed me on FaceTime, like they think you're faking it. But I think people need to start to realize this is a genuine way to connect now and start to experience that. Yeah.
Well, look, I've been talking to a couple of business owners as well who have traditionally resisted online or Skype calls, those kind of things. And from talking to them, what I put it down to is a bit like hearing your own voice for the first time. If you're not used to it or you don't have the perspective of this is actually how I sound to everyone, it's only me that's finding it weird, then that's one part of it. But then all of a sudden you're on a screen and then people find it quite confronting. Like, oh, wow, like number one, there's nowhere to hide in a meeting anymore. Number two, like you can see yourself, which is quite distracting. So you just got to find my tip, having said that, my tip for people who are having challenges with the online video world is just focus on the person that you were talking to, or focus on a person to talk to like you would do in any other normal setting, and that will make it feel a little bit more normal until you start to get comfortable with this kind of thing.
Yeah, totally. No, it's a great way to learn how to connect when we can't go outside our house.
Yeah. And look, then beyond that, it's just, phone calls are going to be the most important things. Is people who you would normally talk to or have a couple of your favorite people on speed dial. I was just talking to my wife about this yesterday. She's got a group messenger chat with a group of our friends, all the girlfriends, and she instigated a chat just saying, hey guys, has anyone found themselves on Facebook just looking for someone to talk to? So they've organised a Friday night Zoom catch up with sparkling wine or sparkling water, depending on their choice, and sit and have a bit of a a face-to-face catch-up for an hour or two or however long it takes. So I'm excited for them for that. And these are the things we're going to start to innovate. But my biggest message is do it sooner rather than later. Don't wait until you hit a point of depression or I hate the world or the government is forced me to do whatever your self-talk becomes. Like, start doing this now, because this is the thing that's going to be most challenging. And we hope that this will just be a couple of weeks, but we need to plan as if it's going to be multiple months. And when you take it from that approach and you plan for the long term, so plan for the worst, but hope for the best.
Yeah. I actually, I was on WhatsApp the other day with a group of my friends. I've got a friends group on WhatsApp, and I saw that 3 of us were chatting, or 4 of us were all chatting, 3 other friends. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to start a video call because we're all like typing to each other. I'll just start a video call, and added the 3 people to the call. And they were all so awkward about the start of it. Like, like, what's this? Like, they've never had a 4-way call before. But after it, they were like, how good is this? Like, we can all talk to each other like we're around the table. And, you know, it was a really, really good experience and a really good thing that, you know, I'd never done that. I'd never initiated it with my friends before. I've done it with business all the time, but to do it with my friends and 3 at once was, a really cool experience. So I really recommend people just drop that on your friends and have a go and give it a go. Yeah, nice. And look, friends are, mostly more forgiving than business or just your peers. So they'll tell you if it's a bad idea or what needs to be improved. So yeah, give it a go. Definitely worth doing.